Welcome back, my darlings, my beautiful collective. You caught me just in the nick of time for today's Oracle Tarot combo. We're going to be starting off with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, and then we're going to transition over to the Rain Shadow deck. So, let us see what our starting energy is. We've got a card already wanting to come out. Interesting. The Eyes of Beauty. Positive expectations. Clarity. Number 25. You know what's so interesting? My friend Kelly has the same deck, and when she recently did a pull with this same deck, I remember seeing this card come out in her spread, and I was thinking to myself, I don't believe that I've ever seen that card, or rarely do I ever see that card pop out. And lo and behold, this is what we get for today. Very interesting that I remember taking note of that and like, do I even have that card in my deck? Kind of wondering, you know. It brings me back to my favorite old joke for tarot. It's like, you know, what's a tarot reader's worst fear? Is that they're not playing with a full deck, right? I like that joke. I know, oldie but goodie and corny, yes, and I do have a sense of both humor and history. All right, the next card that's coming out, the Resting Tree. Patience, stillness. Maybe that's spirit telling me, you know, maybe put that one on ice for a little while. Maybe you've said it too often over these last couple of times, huh? Maybe we are supposed to get into this or cultivate this attitude of patience and stillness. Of course, spirit always telling us that. The number 22 also being pretty significant. So we had 25 and we have 22. So 22 or 222. Very interesting. When I also think of 2 and 5, I think of the High Priestess and the Hierophant, because the High Priestess is number 2 in the tarot, and the Hierophant is number 5, which is also interesting because it is a divine pair, a couple, as it were, right? Spiritual connection. Okay, I feel like both were coming out. Spiritual connection, sacred union. Okay, partnership, romance, number 27. Another 2. The Web Weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect, yin and yang. Huh? A bit of that. Interesting. I feel like spirit is definitely doing something behind the scenes. Perhaps there is this union that spirit has been very diligently working on, and, you know, we just have to be patient and let it come together. The Fire Prince, optimism, aggression, number 40. I feel like it's almost a sense of, don't lose that sense of wonder, right? Very interesting. It reminds me of that song, Just Dance. I Hope You Dance, right? I hope you never lose that sense of wonder, that line from it. The Horse King, assistance, control, number 42. I feel like this is many of us, right? We want to be in control. We want things to go well. We want things to go the way we plan them to go. But that may not be the way that spirit intends for all this to come together. Sometimes the most beautiful and unexpected gifts are born out of chaos, or born out of sheer luck, right? A little bit of that Sagittarian and Jupiter themed magic there. The Spirit Whisperer, divine guidance, higher knowing, number 3, as if to say spirit's like, I told you, I know better than you, in that almost holier than thou condescending but loving tone. Spirit saying, let things happen the way that I expect them to happen, because they're happening for a reason. The word Lord, communication, praise, dishonesty, number 43. So maybe there is communication that's coming through, huh? Very interesting. I see the book, and in the Lenormand, the book is all about knowledge, and not just knowledge, but maybe even secrets being revealed, right? Something that is hidden. The Altar Priestess, preparation, prayer, sacred ritual, number 39. I feel like all of this has been preparation, right? What's very interesting is I'm hearing this saying, past is prologue, right? So what you think, you know, had nothing to do with any of this. The past is actually just the beginning of this new chapter. Very interesting. The Spiral Dancer, Circuitous Route, Perception, number 5. A bit of round and round we go, right? Where we'll stop, no one knows. The Dragon's Duel, Inner Conflict, Morality, Conscious Choice, number 23 rather, I'm sorry. But entanglement, right? In a way, the same thing. This spiral, this circular dance. One more card and then the bottom of the deck, shall we? The Hawk Prince, Spirit Communication, Paying Attention, number 11, a divine number, right? We've had 11 and 22 pop out, as well as quite a few 2s. The bottom of the deck, the High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, Consideration, and, albeit, another 1. Well, it almost feels like there are new beginnings here, that things are starting to fall into place and not apart. Perhaps they had to fall apart a little bit before things can be ready for falling into place. So, I feel, let us just see where we go, shall we? You're not going to be able to control any of this. So why not just let it come to pass the way that it was intended, right? Okay, so now let us turn our attention and focus over to the tarot. This is going to be the Rain Shadow deck. Let us see what energy Spirit has, or what energy is in store and what messages Spirit has for us today. All right, so what are we working with? Here's that old song, like, let me see what you're working with. Okay, so maybe somebody wants to see what you're working with. I'm sorry, sir or madam. We don't just show the goods to anyone. You have to, you know, you have to ante up first. A bit of, I'll show you mine if you show me yours kind of energy. Okay, Ace of Pentacles, brand new beginnings, new opportunities. All right. Well, now, an offer that you can't refuse, I guess. Let's see what else is in store. That's our starting energy. What's the potential challenge, huh? Hopefully a bit of lightheartedness. Let's get out of some of this very serious, very dramatic, very, you know, energy. The Hierophant. Okay. The Hierophant is the Sacred Divine Masculine. Interesting. Right now, what I'm hearing in the hand, there's the flame, the keeper of the flame, huh? Maybe that means something. I've got a chill when I said that. Maybe that means something for someone. Okay, maybe twin flame, someone that, maybe someone still holds a flame or candle or torch for you. Someone you thought did not. And with the Hierophant, maybe this is something that is both spirit-led, Taurus energy as well. This can be a bit of the energy of going to the next level here. A new opportunity that is very much perhaps a level up from your current situation. But it's also maybe someone who was ready to reveal this feeling or these feelings. The Hierophant is very much about making something public knowledge, right? So whereas the Divine Feminine, the Sacred Divine Feminine, the High Priestess, right? She is kind of like the keeper of the sacred rites. A lot of her stuff happens in the dark and shrouded in mystery, right? The Hierophant knows that he is on public display, and he is the visible presence of Spirit. When I think of this, I think of like the Pope, right? So for many, at least in the Catholic world, the Pope is Christ's representative here on earth. We feel that he's guided by the Holy Spirit, at least in traditional Catholic doctrine, right? Which goes on to say like very other little dogmatic things about the Pope, you know, being infallible in matters of doctrine and whatnot that the church clings on to. Obviously, I'm not fully Catholic anymore. I was Catholic raised, but am more open-minded, I would say, in my spiritual beliefs of the day. I believe religion in a way to be a tool, right, to get us connected to or closer to the divine. For some of us, it is entrenched in our early belief systems, where this is what we were taught and how we were taught to access the divine. But I also feel like some of those ideas or beliefs can evolve over time, and we may learn a new sense of what it means to be close to the divine. What I really love is kind of like this interweaving, or I like the universal philosophies. Kind of like one of these, Saint Ignatius of Loyola, I believe, it was famous for like speaking about seeing God in all things, right? The air, the water, the earth, everywhere, you know, everything. Wow, getting really emotional. Everything being a true reflection of beauty and God and creation. So I feel like you don't really have to look far to find the divine, especially if you look in the mirror, because we often are told that we're made in the image of God, right? And sorry, forgot. We are made in the image of God. We are a reflection of the divine. And so it's sometimes hard for us to remember that, especially when we're human. We're having a we're human and divine, and we are having a human experience. And sometimes we want to put a bit of distance between us and the divine, because we're like, okay, well, if I am divine, then how come I do things that I don't want to do, or things that I know I shouldn't, you know? And it's a reminder to give ourselves grace. You are a fragment of the universe experiencing itself, right? The universe has broken itself off into many possibilities, and yours is a unique journey, one where the universe gets to explore what it means to be human, and then at the end of your journey reassembles that knowledge, reabsorbs that knowledge into itself so that it remembers. So very interesting, wild tangent. Okay, let's go back, at least do a little bit of review. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, a brand new start, all right? And we have this Hierophant energy as well, which is the potential challenge. So there is this brand new start that's going to the next level, right? You're getting an opportunity to do something, but this time to level up, to like, you know, a chance to do something better, or do things better or different, right? Now you have more knowledge about this brand new start. Four of Swords at a focus on position, which says that maybe there was this period of isolation or a period of separation. Maybe this was a healing period. Maybe you're getting here because you're focused on what you've done in the meantime, which has been healing, right? A bit of delayed energy or future focus energy, but it's not without a purpose. I believe that purpose was the healing. Very interesting. The Strength position is the Temperance card. Sagittarius is represented by the Temperance card in the tarot, but I also feel like this is a card of alignment, and it can be deep healing. Maybe what this is that you have been focused on the healing, and the Strength position is you've been doing the work. You've been working to align yourself with what is made for you. When you start to truly align with your soul's true calling, you start to unlock doors and timelines and possibilities, because whatever was made for you, whatever's truly in like supposed to be of that vibration to match you, everything is just going to start coming towards you, being attracted to you, right? Everything is frequency and energy. And I feel like that's what Spirit is reminding you. It's about alignment, aligning to what is for us. So what's our recent past? Ooh, okay. The recent past is the Lovers. I'm really being called to like those vines that are kind of like intertwined, almost like the knots. Lover's knot is very, very interestingly like resonating right now. So the Lovers can be about a choice, and it can be about love. Maybe you had to make decisions in love, tough decisions, because with the knot, that implies things that aren't easy, or maybe get complicated, right? Things that might bind you. Maybe you feel bound, and I'm feeling like a little bit of confirmation there. Maybe you feel bound to a certain person or connection from the past. Maybe this is something that you thought would turn out differently here. What is the near future? If decisions were our past, what's the near future? Queen of Swords. Okay. In a way, I feel like there's a bit of uncomplicating things. The Queen of Swords is logical minded. This is Queen of Air energy, air signs, or Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. They're very intelligent, but they can also be very detached. This is the energy of analysis and, really like a BS meter. This Queen of Swords doesn't play, man. If you come before the Queen of Swords, she's going to like tear you apart. If you have like ill intent, or if your words and your actions don't match, she's going to call you out on that stuff. You have no opportunity to sit there and, stumble over your words, those shoulda, woulda, couldas. She's going to flat out call you out on your BS and be like, you know what? Your words and your actions don't match. Face the wrath of my sword here. And so I often talk about, she's very well armed. You think that the sword is her only weapon. What you don't realize is that her mind and her tongue are equally as sharp. And she will cut you to pieces because she's wielding all three at the same time. Of all the queens, I would imagine she's the one that's best able to defend herself, right? So very much a warrior queen. Okay, so what does that mean also? So Queen of Swords is about boundaries. It's about not letting people walk all over you. I feel whereas before, the recent past was about love. And maybe there was this idealistic, like, hope for love that would be equal, but I feel like it didn't happen for you. What happened instead with this near future coming out, I feel like you had to learn lessons, hard lessons when it came to love. And maybe even something that you really truly loved and desired, or someone you had to walk away from because it wasn't balanced. And the way that you're moving forward is not allowing this kind of energy to continue to persist in your life. I feel like you started to put yourself first. And now you recognize that is the way to move forward here. It's not that you don't care for anyone else or anything else, but you realize that you have to give yourself an equal measure here. And it starts with you. All right, what's the suggested approach here? A lot of talking tonight. Six of Cups. So I feel like this is a bit of nostalgia here, a bit of a past connection, maybe even a wish fulfillment. But this Six of Cups, it might be an apology. It might be, focusing on maybe the good times here. The suggested approach, I would almost say, return to innocence, that naivete, that lighthearted spirit, maybe even a bit of inner childhood healing that still needs to happen. And I'm getting the cooling in the heart space. I feel like that's, for some, we need to release some inner childhood trauma that's connected with the way that we love. What do we need to know? Knight of Wands. When we can do that, when we can unlock our heart space by releasing some of that trauma, Knight of Wands, what we've asked Spirit for, what we desire, because the wands represent our desires and our passions, I feel like that's going to move towards us. That's going to start to find us. What is the hope and or fear? Four of Cups. I feel like this is a bit of a fear. The Four of Cups says that my needs aren't being met. Something is not right here. There's not enough. You have sampled what they have in 3 cups in front of you. You're waiting for another option. And that's where we typically see in the Four of Cups traditional tarot imagery, there's usually this 4th cup appearing from the periphery, a cup being offered by Spirit. And so there is ever much this sense of, you know, okay, this isn't really doing it for me. So now what? What is the probable outcome here? What's our probable outcome? 9 of Pentacles. So 9 of Pentacles talks about abundance, but it also talks about self-worth, self-value. It, in a way, it is personal abundance. It's seeing yourself as the prize, as, you know, worthy of having what you've asked for. Seeing your own worth and value, even when others don't. The energy at the bottom of the deck is when we can get to this point and we see our own worth and our own value, and we can live in the embodiment of that. Live in the energy of, I know I'm enough. I know I'm worthy of having good things. I know that I'm worthy of a loving and a partner and a partnership that's equitable. Then look what happens. Knight of Cups. That cup of love that we've been so desperate to look for comes riding in on a horse to find us, right? And it's because we found ourselves first. Because we recognized our own worth and our own value. And now we're getting something that is a vibrational match that is worthy of us in return. That's what I have for you tonight. Wishing you all peace, love, and light. Until next time.